What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Power 108.9. I am Ebony here with who are you today? Who are you today?
Well, you coming for me already.
I'm just saying.
The show just started and you like
Who
coming
are
for me
you
already.
today?
Wow. I don't get no justice around here. I've been saying it. It's
Soul
Malachite.
And we are conscious intercourse. Y'all know, you just never know with this one. Who we gonna be today? You know,
we
him
are.
and his personality.
We're always evolving, right? You're never the same. Like every day is a new opportunity to be a new version of yourself, right?
This is true.
I create myself in every moment.
That's why I got to check.
Yeah.
You know,
so today
who are you?
I'm still Soul Malachite.
You still
today.
Soul Malachite?
Yeah,
okay.
as we consciously intertwine,
right,
and share these transcendent experiences to evolve our spirituality. This is who we are. We create our reality. Right? And today, I'm actually creating a whole new reality today because today's the first time we're going to have intercourse with our CEOs.
Yeah.
She like pause.
Quentin is like pause. Y'all know this one. You know he got to go there, but y'all know how we touch on the word intercourse. It's an exchange. It's a conscious exchange.
Right,
and we're gonna have that.
Right, when you look it up, right? People be like intercourse. I'm like,
what's the true meaning? What's the true meaning of intercourse?
My friends would be like, pause.
Right, pause.
They catch you every time.
Yeah, every time. Right. But yes.
So today, we're literally we have two CEOs here today, and we're gonna have an intercourse again with the CEOs today. Our phenomenal guest today, amazing entrepreneur. I used to tell you guys all the time when I first met you all, like y'all like my role models, man. Yeah,
you did too.
Power couple, accomplishing things, successful, beautiful, just, and always the energy is always immaculate when I'm around you all. Y'all just always have this glow.
I felt that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed.
Ultimately, standing ovation to Quentin and Taryn, of founders, executives of Urban Eden,
Urban Eden,
man.
Yes.
I remember all them conversations we used to have early on. I remember the conversation we had at Juneteenth. I never forget that.
Right, Juneteenth, right? We would just every time I would see you all at either this Juneteenth or some type of a veggie taste or vegan fest or whatever it was, or you guys were always out there on a grind from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Urban Eden is a big deal now. I can't go a lot of places in the cities where people don't know who you are. Right.
Right.
You've touched so many lives. Like I could walk in my bathroom and be like, oh my God, I could just, it's an experience now. Taking the shower is an experience, right? Before it was just, you walk in the shower and just, grab a bar of soap. Now it's an experience, right? It's
that is so true.
Yes,
it's true.
It's an experience.
You get it. You excited? What soap am I gonna use today?
Yeah. Y'all got me putting on lotion. I sit there and be like,
before we dwell, for those people who don't know you. First of all, welcome. Yeah. Welcome to Conscious Intercourse. Thank you so much for being here. But please let us know who you are and what you do.
All right. I'll go first. So I'm Quentin Lewis.
I'm Taryn Lewis.
And I guess for this conversation, for work and all that type of stuff, we are the co-founders of Urban Eden, a natural soap and body care company based here. Based in Douglasville, based in Douglasville, part of the Metro Atlanta cities for people that are listening. Started it in 2016, and
officially.
Yeah, officially. And we've done a whole lot since then, and I'm pretty sure we might get into that type of stuff. I don't want to just
absolutely. You said officially, so y'all was doing it before 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started making soap in 2014. That was the first time, and then we did farmers. We started farmers markets in about 2016. So just selling around on social media prior to, and on like a little Square website prior to. But then when we got into farmers markets and stuff, then we actually like established the business, and
we do events. We'll do certain events in the city. Atlanta has a lot of events,
festivals.
And this is the season.
This is the season. So we was at all of those things. Until we, like, I'm not gonna say we couldn't, but until like the point of the business just was like, okay, we need to kind of focus on other parts. So
and it's not just any soap, any kind of soap, natural soaps.
Yes.
natural soaps with healing properties. Mm-hmm. So it's like
to that, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I always say, like, even from when I first started making soap, prior to like just growing up, I had been using like Dove and Caress and just things that my mom used. And then when we were in college, that's where me and Quentin met at Georgia State. We met in college, and Quentin actually was interested in like gardening. He made like a herbal hair oil, a rosemary lavender herbal hair oil, and I just knew that was like one of his interests. And one time when I was like walking at school, I seen a flyer for like a urban internship for a farm, and so I just took a picture of it and sent it to Quentin. And Quentin was actually the only person who responded to that internship.
Oh, wow.
So he started interning there, and then at some point I joined him at the internship, and so we pretty much got in touch with like just farming, learning about the soil, learning about plants. I always tell people this story about like my mom. I tried to give her like just a tomato and basil leaf, and she was like, "Ew, no, that's nasty." So it just really spoke to me how we were just so disconnected from food, even coming from plants, and just the power of plants. And so that internship just really just kind of opened up my mind and my world to the power of plants and entrepreneurship as well, farmers market life. And so I wanted to get involved with that beyond farming, and just wanted to learn a new skill. And soap making, the first soap I ever made was like a lavender soap. And I just remember being amazed that you could even put lavender, herbs, and essential oils into soap. And Urban Eden was on the rise.
You ran with it. And it is an amazing brand. Like, from someone who does use it, I love it. My favorite is the turmeric bar. Hey. Get your face right, I love it. And your oil, I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, how did you, like, of course you shared with me that you were interested, but, like, did you know that these things were going to come to fruition when you made your first bar of soap? Did you actually think that you were going to build a business out of it? And, like, was this something that you planned from the beginning and said, hey, I'm going to do this and actually build it into a business?
It was strange because technically, I guess I did, because like I said, we were going to farmers markets, but we were selling plants, and then we were like going to restaurants, giving them the produce that we were growing. And so I just knew that I wanted to, I was like, okay, well, I do want to learn a different skill. We also visited a commune out in Tennessee, and they actually have a birthing center there, so that's one of their biggest but they had all these other different businesses, but the birthing center was like one of their biggest businesses. They had a hammock business and like a tofu business, and so I was like, I was just really like hippie minded, and I was like, oh, I want to be a part of like a community and a commune, and if I was a part of a community, I just want to have a very valuable skill and a valuable business. So I think I was like, I just want to have a skill. It was like just me having the interest of getting a skill under my belt. And Quentin already had a business doing vegetable gardens. So when I started doing it, he was like, you should start a business making soap. And I was like, I was a little nervous because I was like, well, what does that look like? I just knew I wanted to do the skill. And he was talking about actual business.
The masculine perspective, right? Because you're more feminine, so you're creative. You just want to create and get a skill. He's like,
let's monetize
that right there. We can turn this into this, that, and the other. Like, we have masculine energy to build. Yeah,
that's that. You need both. You need both. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's even just as we've grown throughout the years. That's how our roles within the business has just continued to transform, as far as me being the creative side and Quentin taking over all the business and the operational side. Like, he is totally the business mind. So you hear him saying the business started in 2016, and you hear me saying it started in 2014. So I started making soap, but that's when he actually was like, well,
that's when the money came in.
Yes, he did all the paperwork to actually make it a business. We filed in 2016.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. I see you over there rubbing your belly.
Because this girl is active.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How far along are we?
Okay, so people say they don't do weeks anymore, but I use an app, and I'm pretty much like 28 weeks. And in the middle of the week somewhere. So I'm about to be 29 weeks this Saturday. So just entered into the 3rd trimester. So yeah, it's summertime here in Atlanta.
About to pop.
Feeling it all. Pretty soon. This is our first child. So yeah, getting ready to have a new housemate.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how has that been on the business? You know, with your energy and everything, and
it's been good. I really just been trying to like just protect the energy, and I feel like now that I'm like kind of more so entering into the 3rd trimester, I've kind of like just fell back on like creating products and really just trying to prepare my mind for like becoming a mom and having a child, and kind of like stepping back a little bit in the business, letting Quentin just do his thing that he continues to do, and kind of just let nothing new necessarily in the business.
But you still be involved though.
I'm definitely still involved, even just in ways that I can be. But then I'm preparing for the fact that I know like once I have the child, for like the first few months to just really be taking the time to just, I don't want to, this is my first pregnancy, and I just kind of feel like I don't want to let this time go past. Like you always talk about just being conscious and being aware. I want to be here with my first pregnancy. And really nurture myself before I get to the point where I'm about to nurture a new life.
And that is very important. That is very
That's
important.
That's so beautiful. Congratulations, to the both of you all. This is, it's a phenomenal, experience to bring life into the world. That's the greatest creation, exercise of our creativity possible.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That is
that is a wonderful thing. So I'm really, really happy for you all.
No, I appreciate it. You done seen us grow up, like,
man. We've been at it for a minute. We've been at it for a minute and watching y'all just evolve and grow. It's been a phenomenal journey. To be able to just see it firsthand. So I'm always like, I'm just blown away a lot of times when I see you all and all the things that you've accomplished, and it's just it's a phenomenal feat. And I think for me, it's also the power of a couple, right? You guys are like the epitome of a power couple, especially because a lot of us in our community, especially as African American or Black people, a lot of times we do have examples of power couples, but on TV and this, that, and the other. But to actually see y'all together, actually to be able to successfully work in a business together, right? Where you don't leave, and Quentin doesn't leave and go to work here. You don't leave and go to work there. Y'all at work together, go home together, hang out on the weekends together, like,
and still like each
always
other.
Together. That's what I'm saying, right?
Exactly like each other.
You say, that's what I'm saying, right? Y'all are together all the. That's what I'm saying, together all the time. So to me, that is, that is an amazing feat, and I don't want to make y'all, put the pressure that you are a role model, that you are a model for others to emulate, but
you are.
But technically you are, and it's it's just, I think that to me is so powerful, right? Because of the examples that you guys are setting for others, and how love can be nurtured, for you guys to work together. Like even when you just tell your story, going to the internships together, and building all these things together. It's like, so it's yeah.
Yeah, and I know we said y'all still like each other, but I'm sure it's been challenging, trying to run and start a business and thrive in the business, in a marriage. I'm sure you run into challenges, but that's a part of a marriage. That's a part of a partnership.
Absolutely a part of it.
And so talk to us about that. Like, share some of your wisdom to sustaining a marriage when in business as well, because a lot of people say, "Oh, you should mix it. You should. It's hard to do." But what is your experience?
Actually, before we even get that, right? How did y'all still answer that question? But I want us to go to the beginning. Like, how did y'all know that y'all was going to be together? Like, how did y'all? Yeah.
How did y'all meet?
How did y'all know that y'all was going to like commit to spend the rest of your lives together? Like.
I have to tell the story, I guess, because I'm the one who knew. But
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like I've been talking, but
no, I mean,
go ahead. I'm the one who knew. You could go ahead.
So we met at Georgia State.
Okay.
We met at Georgia State. You know what's crazy? This was real crazy. We met because of like in colleges you have like the party promotion groups.
Yes.
They be trying to recruit people when you come into school. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So The place that was the promotion team that was recruiting us was called Team Millionaires.
Okay.
Crazy thing is that the founders of that are some of the co-founders of LVRN.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know if you know LVRN, which is a record label now.
Okay.
They're the record label for Summer Walker.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Who else?
Black.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they the same guys that
you.
credit that. So me and Taryn, they had like a meetup. Like this was before we even got to college. We're 17 years old.
Oh wow.
Actually, and we went to this meetup, and that's where I met her at.
But
Okay.
we didn't
Really
like
talk.
formally meet. We sat in a room like with other people. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if he remembered, but I was like, okay, I think I remember like meeting you there.
Yeah.
But we formally met.
Once we got to school.
And it was still we're actually 10 days apart. So
wow.
we both started school relatively early. We graduated high school when we were 17. So and our birthdays are in September. So a lot of things
Virgo.
Who y'all
power.
both Virgo?
That's what I'm talking about.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
Wow.
And so we did a lot of there was a lot of interaction with us getting prepped in college before
Yes.
our birthdays even came up. So when we actually formally met, it was before we even turned 18.
Wow.
So we were getting ready to turn 18.
Yeah.
But just I don't want to take away from him, but just when we met, and even today we were just having a conversation, and one of the cards said like, what was one of our favorite what was my favorite memory? And I said my favorite memory of us is when we met, because I just remember a friend of ours who's still our friend today introduced me and Quentin. And I literally have never like heard a voice so clearly, but there was this voice that was in my head that was like, "This is gonna be your husband." I'm 17, and I'm like, I think I just like I just put it there. Did you?
Wow, right?
But I heard the voice like loud and clear. It was like, "This is gonna be your husband." Like as soon as I met him, and I just remember. That's why I told him I always remember that, because I remember his face. I remember like his smile and just like looking at all of that.
Felt like home.
It did. And we were young. So we like started like liking each other. We were just like young freshmen. We would hang out and stuff like that, but we didn't actually start dating until probably like a couple years later till we really
Oh wow.
I had to grow up.
He did.
That's real.
I was like, why couldn't we be together right then and there? He was like, I
wasn't ready.
Need the time. And I said, I can understand that. Like
17, 18.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
I'm just getting to college.
Right.
First time out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
Like,
You had to experience that little freedom a little
Yeah,
bit.
I need a little bit of time I need some time to myself.
Right. Get to know who you are. Try a little bit.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
But I kept that in the back of my mind. It wasn't something, of course, that I told him. I didn't really share that with anybody. And so even though like I talked to people, it was just kind of like I just knew that path was to be aligned in some way, somehow. And then eventually he came around. I think I just like, we were friends though. We were good friends. We just always, I don't know if we hung around each other.
Okay.
I wasn't like a bugaboo or nothing.
Nah, she was like I had like male friends, and she would be in the mix of us. Like,
Oh, really?
Okay.
Kind of like
Okay.
you got like the cool chick that be with you and the fellas and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it wasn't too many. It was just really me, you, and Credo, honestly.
Pretty much. And
Chris
Chris
Hewitt,
Hewitt was around during the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're still friends. Like one of our friends, he's like, we have a mutual best friend. He's been our friend pretty much that whole time. So and
Wow.
still now. But yeah, that was how we met.
So y'all been married how long now?
It's 9.5 years. We'll be married 10 years in December.
Wow. That is beautiful.
And then we got married early. We got married at 22.
Yeah, we'll be 32 in September.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So back to that question.
That question, right? Yeah.
How have y'all been able to sustain this beautiful relationship?
I think just I think we know our roles. Because you asked about how do we sustain a relationship and business and stuff like that. Like I think just knowing our roles, knowing what we do, what we are good at. Like how you were hearing earlier, Taryn is product, and I'm just speaking from the business side of it.
Yeah.
Like, she's product, creative. That side, I don't mess with none of that. Like, you stay in your lane, she stay in her lane on that. And then when it comes to like the operations and like, you know, the conversations where we have and stuff like that.
Exactly.
You know, she lets me deal with that. She lets me deal with that type of stuff or whatever. Okay. I guess the boring stuff in business or whatever.
The important stuff. Well,
the important stuff.
Everything is important.
Everything is important.
Yeah. But it just like you said, it's the balance. Be able to know.
So we stay within those roles like that, and then I think the flip side of that, like the actual relationship and stuff like that. I think we talked about it there. I think communication. Just, you know, being friends. I think also the fact that we're just now having our first child now, I think allowed us to, you know, grow up with each other. Allowed us to, you know, just grow and experience the world like we were able to do. We were able to build a business and grow the business. Not to say that kids is gonna stop you from doing any of that, because you're still gonna do you're gonna make it happen. Yeah. But I think for our situation, for everything that has happened to us, especially in business, I think that all of that was very beneficial that it didn't happen yet.
Right.
You know.
Because y'all got to know each other, to know that y'all could actually do business together. Yeah. Because y'all were good friends.
Yep.
Yeah, that's important.
Good friends. I just would add, I think, I mean, it's definitely been, I guess when you even ask like challenges, it's been like a learning situation the whole time. Quentin's like pretty easy to he's easygoing and easy to get along with and pretty patient as well, because I know that you were mentioning like talking about just traumas and stuff just growing up, and like for me one of my biggest traumas was just like my parents, their relationship. They got divorced when I was 10, but I would tell people, I just would remember just like waking up just thinking I'm hearing arguing, because they just argue so much. And you know, just when people are just at odds with each other, and just being in the middle of that as a child, that's a byproduct of that. So even for us to get married in the first like few years, we had times when like we argued, and because that was what I knew for the most part, and I really kind of had to take a step back and realize that like I didn't want to be like my parents. I don't want to, you know, be divorced and all of that. So it was just like I really wanted to work on my relationship, and really valued being with Quentin and just the relationship that we had in general. So just constantly working on myself to just be a better wife. Hopefully you work on yourself to be a better husband. I can't speak for him.
Right.
But, I think we naturally just grew through time.
Yeah. And like you said, communication, and really just taking the time to talk. Like we probably don't sit down and talk as often as we could, but we will sit down and talk something out if need be.
Right.
So that's and try to work and grow from there. So I think like even the friendship aspect, us being friends and just being like open with each other, has helped a lot.
That's real. That's real. That's what's
amazing. I know, Quentin, you mentioned like the roles, right, in business, right? Do you guys find that you also have roles in your marriage as well? In your, like at home, like are there certain things that you're responsible for, Quentin? Like there are certain things you're responsible for, Taryn, like, you know, around the house, for example, or is that I'm saying, I'm just curious because
that's interesting.
No, you're right. I mean, I think even just as people, I think we naturally fall into roles. I think in relationships. Like I dump the trash, like like she don't touch the trash or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to say that I won't touch the food and won't help cook or anything like that, or like won't help to wash the dish. Now, yes, Taryn will do those things more than me, like you know, cooking and cleaning. I definitely help out, you know, in those areas or whatnot. But you know, we do have our roles, and you know, like when somebody's at the door and, you know, it's late at night, I'm gonna get up and go check that. You know?
Y'all don't take turns. Like short turn, Taryn, yo.
Hey, somebody out there, I don't know, man. Go check that.
I think I heard so. I did it last night, right?
You gonna get that.
It's your turn. I did it last couple times, right?
Right. So, you know, I mean, we have them natural roles, man. You know?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But do you feel like having those roles actually helped you all? Like kind of helps with the dynamic in the relationship?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even with saying, even with me just talking about my parents and stuff, that was something that I had to kind of realize too, is what were these roles, and just even, I feel like in a sense, I know that we talk about gender roles a lot in this day and age, but I truly feel like it's just important for I mean, as a woman, you want to, we talk about our soft life nowadays. And it's like, if we want to live a soft life, like, let the man lead. Like,
let the man be a man.
Let the man be a man and make the decisions and like but I mean, of course, that man should show that he is capable of making sound decisions and that he could be a leader. So I feel like Quentin has shown that he's good at making decisions. And even when we talk about soft life, sometimes it's just like, as women, sometimes we don't want to make all the decisions all the time. Like we make like natural decisions. We trust our intuition, but some hard things we just want to take the world off our shoulders a little bit, and y'all shoulders is big broader for that.
Exactly right. Can't carry the load, right?
Carry the load.
Right.
Yeah.
So accepting that for me, like I said in the beginning, I think because I had my own apartment. I had a job. Yeah. I had all these types of things. I'm a first, I have an older brother, but I'm the first daughter. So I had all these types of things. I was independent for the most part. You know, we both had apartments, but Quentin technically moved into my apartment. But it was just still just kind of breaking. I had to break that barrier of
sharing your space.
Yeah, sharing my space and feeling like I need to be my own man.
Out to the whole world, right?
If that was to go by, they would be like, look. He moved in with her.
Wow. But Tara, you said, you talked about, your childhood trauma with your parents. Mm-hmm. So you pretty much had to learn your roles and what that really looked like to be a wife. Mm-hmm. You learned that pretty much through what you knew you wanted, not what you experienced in the example that you had. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit more about that. Like growing up, was your mother talking to you about her relationship with your father? Did you have more insight on what was really going on with their relationship?
I think from my age, I did, because with whatever they were dealing with, in their infidelity situations, on both parts, my dad would ask me what my mom was doing. My mom would ask me what my dad was doing, and then they didn't, of course, probably tell me everything, but they did tell me some things as far as me being their older child. I was their older child, their eldest child that they had together. Okay. So I kind of, I would have to be in that role of kind of understanding what was kind of going on, not fully from an adult perspective, but just from my perspective as a child. And me probably telling my dad, trying to make up or trying to observe what I saw and telling him stuff, and him probably getting mad. And my parents like to say, even to this day, that it was manipulation on either end. I don't know what it was, but it just was I don't know, it was just me being observant, trying to figure out what was going on in their relationship. And my parents divorced when I was 10, and they actually tried to get back together and did get back together a little bit when I was 16. Okay. And my mom, we had been living by ourselves. We moved down here to Georgia when I was 11. Okay. And my mom, she asked me before my dad came and moved in, she said, do you think your dad should move back in? And I said, no. I said, because you guys have different parenting styles. And I have a brother that's 7 years younger than me, and my sister is 10 years younger than me. And I said, I don't want them to have to go through the same thing that I went through as far as y'all breaking up. And I knew that you just know when people are not compatible. I was like, y'all are just not compatible, and it's not gonna work. Wow. But she, even though she asked me, she didn't listen and still did her own thing. And of course it didn't work within a couple of years and stuff. And my brother and sister went through the same exact thing, and it actually might have been a little worse on them, just because they had each other as far as closer to their age, right? And then my parents were still in the same vicinity, so it was I'm gonna go to my dad's house and I'm gonna go to my mom's house whenever they had an issue with either parent or something. And at that point, I'm getting to the point where I'm in high school, getting ready to go to college. So it's y'all living y'all life. I'm doing my thing at this point. So yeah, I feel like I kind of didn't, I didn't learn how to be a wife growing up per se. When I met Quentin, actually, and even just him as a friend, and I met his mom, I always tell his mom, I was like, you showed me how to be a wife. Wow. She showed me how to be a wife to her son. I felt as far as that's when I kind of really learned how to cook and stuff. Okay. And just seeing her as a wife. Now I'm not necessarily the same as her, but just I learned a lot of things from her as far as like being a wife.
Right, and feminine and doing the roles.
Which is an interesting point. It kind of leads to, I was going to ask you the same thing. Like, what about your childhood that you saw that has either helped you, I would assume it has helped you, in your relationship?
I think, well, what I saw, what's crazy is like I saw like my dad. He's always been like this huge figure. Like he's 6'4", 2 something, whatever. So like he's always been like this huge guy to me.
Yeah.
So he's the guy. Like he was the alpha in the house or whatever.
Right.
And my mom was always submissive. She wasn't combative. Like my mom, she doesn't. I mean, she yelled at us or whatever because we her kids. But like, I never really seen her like going back and forth with my dad and stuff like that. I didn't see too much of that.
Okay.
Are they still married?
Yeah, they still married. Yep, they've been married 30. What? I'm 31, so they should be married 32 years.
Wow.
I believe. Yeah, they got married super young.
Okay.
So yeah, I saw some. I think I saw some good stuff. Now some of the negative things I did see, just stuff like, my dad just not always like helping out my mom. So that I think I took that.
Yeah.
And I've always told Taryn like I don't want you to like wear out because you're cooking all day and you're cleaning all day. I want to help out so that we both can sit down and relax and enjoy watching some Netflix together or whatever.
Right.
So I'm very cognizant of that. So yeah, I think that was some of the things that I saw. But I would say overall it wasn't a bad experience whatsoever. I don't think it was a bad experience. I'm grateful for my parents. I think that I owe them a lot. Just for raising me and my brothers. Okay. Me and my brothers, we all have business. My other brother, he works for us now, but we all were entrepreneurs, so I gotta definitely, they gave us a good foundation. Yeah. We all were together, mom and dad both in the same household, even though everything wasn't perfect, but you kept three African American boys in the same household. We made it where we are. Yeah. They deserve some credit.
And they still together.
And they still together.
They deserve
in trouble like that.
Kudos to the parents.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Because we can, you can nitpick the stuff,
Right.
And I've had conversations with my brothers. They like, oh, they did this, did that. I'm like, yo, you gotta look at everything from the high level,
right?
Grand scheme of the things. Exactly. We safe, we here. Y'all got kids now. We growing up, so we good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm always curious to learn as well, especially, in that type of context where, actually, both of y'all, I'm going to ask you all, was religion or spirituality the factor in your upbringing? Like, what was that like, as far as, your parents? Did your parents make y'all go to church or, did y'all,
Religion was a roller coaster for me.
Okay.
My dad is he reads a lot. He's a searcher. Even though, this is crazy, my dad dropped out of high school.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
But he reads. He will read a book. So he's always been a searcher. We were Muslim at one point.
Okay.
We went to Christianity. He was in the church. He started searching. He became Hebrew Israelites at one point.
Oh, wow.
And that was probably I would say the bulk of my childhood was that.
Okay.
Then he started reading the Owaspy. I don't know if you heard of that book.
Yeah.
Like, my guy, he goes everywhere, and we've gotten taken through everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So religion definitely was like a big part, and again, like I said, Hebrew Israelite was the main religion that I was part of my childhood. Probably from he first introduced it to me when I was like 13.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
13 until I would say mid-20s.
Which explains why you probably was into farming and things.
Yes,
of that
that's
nature.
exactly why I was into that, because the guy that introduced me to farming and stuff was a Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
So like and I know how Hebrew Israelite stuff now, very controversial and whatnot. But I don't like to talk super negative about them because like I know a lot of people in it still. And like it's such a foundational piece for me.
Oh yeah.
It was such a foundational thing for me, like from diet to the farming to rest. I mean, honoring your parents,
values, right?
Values,
value systems, exactly.
Me and Taryn was just talking about that today, because the fact that we and her don't really like latch to a certain religion. And now that we have a child on the way, I'm like, well, what are we going to set for her? What foundation and values are we going to set for her? For her to latch on to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And it seemed like y'all got a sound, knowledge of self.
Yeah.
And that's important. Because you mentioned the different religions you've been in, and you got enough knowledge of self, of who you are, to pass down to your child, to for them to just be true to themselves, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I don't think it's about attaching yourself to a religion or ideology of anybody else's. Do what's best for you with integrity.
And that's probably how I've taken my approach now as I've gotten on my own and got out on my own out from my parents' house. That's what it was. We've taken on our own type of thing now.
Right.
But I've never forgotten any of the lessons or any of the things, because she'll tell you, I always will quote something from Proverbs or something.
Yeah, it's a good foundation.
She be like, she call me Preacher Quentin. Like, she's like, I always pull a story or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think like going from 13 until then, like every week we was reading the Torah and like some lesson.
Shabbat, huh?
Yeah, on Shabbat we was just sun up to sundown, but you can't forget any of that stuff.
That's in you. It's foundational, you know. Yeah. It's
that's right.
How about you, Taryn?
For me, growing up, we were Christians. We weren't like super devout, like holy roller type of Christians, but
holy roller.
like in church every Sunday. But we did go to church a lot. And then at some point, so when I went to college, I started having questions just about religion in general, because I was living the college life and I was like, I need to go get baptized. I was like, City girl.
Yeah, Georgia State, downtown Atlanta. Okay, it's going down.
I was like, I need to go get baptized. But I kept asking myself, I'm like, is that really the answer? Is me getting baptized really the answer?
Right.
And then also I took an African American studies class, and I remember we're in like this big kind of like stadium classroom. And we're reading in a textbook, and it said that when African Americans were brought here, that they were not Christians. And so a light bulb goes off in my head, because my parents had also taught me like from a very young age about racism, about slavery, about just the injustices that were going on. So when you say that when we came here, we weren't Christians, I'm like, so what were we?
Yeah,
and when did we become Christians at some point? Yeah. And so that's when I started having questions. And me and Quentin, like I said, we were just friends, like just hanging out. Yeah. And I'm asking Quentin, so I'm like, I have questions. I'm like, I don't know, like, what's going on? Like, is Christianity, like, the path? Like, is it really real? And I remember we were sitting in the car at my apartment in the flats in Atlantic Station at the rooftop in the car. And he was like, okay, well, you just need to erase like everything that you know about.
It's like red blue pill.
Unlearn.
Red blue pill, right? Like reset the hard drive.
Reset the hard drive. I remember he said that. He was like, you need to erase everything that you know about Christianity. He was like, okay, and this is what I'm about to tell you. And then I remember, I honestly don't even remember what he
probably pulled out
Deuteronomy 28. With that Hebrew.
Deuteronomy 28. If you've never read it,
I pulled that
out. And then you read it.
Yeah.
Like it gets you in that moment. You're like,
it gets you. Yes.
Like, and it resonates as true instantly. It's like, hold up.
Because you're like Daniel Kaluuya, you know, get out, you know, you sink in that sunken place. You're
like,
yes, exactly.
And then you come
back. You know what I'm saying? Teardrop. You're like, to me, that's what I think. That's what happened to me. It was like, I'm like, I'm in that sunken place right now. I'm like, yo, what? This was here this whole time?
You like,
wow. And then especially for you to come from Christianity and a person to show you something in the Bible that you're like, well, wait a second.
I ain't look at it like that.
And look, I'm 17, 18 years old, and I'm showing her this, and she's like, yo, you different. You know, like,
Different. That's what got her. That's what got her.
He was already different to me, but definitely when he showed me that, it was like I kind of became interested more so into that. So I wanted to know more about that. I wanted to start going to him. He was like, well, you know, I go to like a congregation on Saturdays and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like I'll come and check it out and like go to it. And like part of it was like I was learning a lot more, and then I was spending more time with him. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, like let me get more interested in this. And so then I kind of like, you know, took on a lot of the doctrine and just kind of went with it. And I remember like my parents, and because once you kind of become a Hebrew Israelite too, you become like very zealous. You trying to tell everybody that
this is the way.
You look into your phone like you texting everybody like, yo,
you ready to debate?
You going through like.
Yeah, so I was going there with all my parents, you know, trying to tell them about not eating pork no more. Like, you can't do this. And so they really thought like, you know, of course they think like it's definitely like a cult phase. And a phase and stuff like that, which I guess in a sense it did end up being a phase in a sense. But like he said, it's still foundational.
Exactly.
And so we went into that route. And that's actually even part of the reason why we got married so young, too, because we were just hanging out a lot. And then we wanted to live together and stuff like that. And, of course, like, everything in the Hebrew Israelite way is very, like, by the 10 Commandments. It's, you know, really shouldn't be living together. And
shacking up.
Intercourse before. Right. Sexual intercourse before.
Yeah. Just intercourse.
So we were kind of like, I don't want to say we were forced to be married, but they was kind of, the elders was kind of looking at us like, yeah, y'all kind of need to make this happen.
Wow. And when your parents, I remember his parents had found out, because I think I would go visit his house and stuff, like with his brothers. He lived with his brothers and his parents at the time, and I would go visit his house. And one time I think he was in there playing a game, and his mom was like, do y'all sleep in the same bed or something when y'all hang out? And he is gonna answer it all just like, yeah, we sleep in the same bed. And his mom was like, wait a second, hold up,
wait a minute.
Right. Wow. She's listening to that from the perspective of, this is her first baby, like, I'm her oldest.
Yeah, exactly. She like, wait, what?
Oh, what?
Next thing I know, she's going to the elders at the congregation, telling them that they've been sleeping together and all this type of stuff, so they need to start going through the courting process. So it was like, at this point, they're like, yeah, you're courting her pretty much, and you need to go through like the marriage process. But I mean, I think that we kind of just were with it. It was a partly pressure situation, but then we liked each other too, and it was like, hey, I guess we.
Plus the voice in your head said it, right? So it was like, at that point, it was
voice
like,
did say it.
Yeah, it was said. It was done. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and even though my parents weren't a part of it, we did ask my parents for like permission. Like, was it okay?
You said they weren't a part of it.
They weren't a part of the religion.
Oh, the religion, right.
Yeah. So we still did ask them for permission. And we got married at the courthouse. So we did get like a certificate through the congregation as well. But we pretty much got married at the courthouse. Right. And are legally married. So,
But it worked out, though, because it settled me down.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it gave, like, because now, you know, I'm not just out here like my friends. You know, I mean, again, I'm 21, 22, 23. Yeah. You know, when you that age in Atlanta, you just... You just want to go do your thing. Exactly. So, but now I'm married. Now we're having conversations and we're thinking about business.
Exactly.
We're thinking about, all right, how do we, you know, because I was working as a valet, she was working as a server, and we were just like, yo, what are we gonna do? We need something to invest in. And then that's when we kind of got us.
Why I gotta be you 21, 22 in Atlanta? That's everywhere, right?
But come on now, this is Atlanta though.
It's different.
Not in Idaho.
Everywhere in Atlanta.
Not in Idaho. All you got is potatoes.
Right.
But now you got another problem.
Atlanta is
we know.
Amazing.
Everybody know what Atlanta is.
Atlanta,
It's the Freaknik.
Atlanta.
It's the Freaknik all the time.
Atlanta. I mean,
any place I go to, I compare to Atlanta, and nothing compares to here.
Nothing compares to Atlanta.
Nothing compares here.
I mean, you can't even go to the grocery store.
So even that, to sustain a relationship living in Atlanta, tough, young, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, they do in Chicago
They do
too.
get wild in them other cities. We just happen to be in Atlanta, so
right. But it ain't too many naked bodies in Chicago all the time. It's cold.
Right?
Yeah.
What? They did. All right, you better be careful.
His Chi-Town people gonna come for him.
It's King Von Land and all of that, yo.
Yes. You a mess.
So it's an interesting point, because as you talked about how y'all had to like you're married, you're not out in the streets partying. You're like, we got to figure out something to invest, something to do, right? Because I was about to lead into that, because trying to figure out, okay, because, you know, we go to a lot of festivals in Atlanta. You see everybody and their mama making soap. Like literally, I see more soap makers at these festivals than I think any other brand, any other products, right? Yeah. So like, what made y'all stand out and achieve so much success? What would y'all, let's say, give, like, you know, if you had to identify a few things, what would those things be?
Good question.
I think I just want to say I do think that's a great question, because it is an oversaturated market.
Yes, it is.
No, it is
crazy.
And I know it wasn't when you started off.
No,
Actually,
it still was. When I used to see out the festivals, it wasn't as saturated as it is now, but it used to be at least, when we go to the Juneteenth, all those things, it used to be at least like 10, 15 of them.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the most, you know, I would see it all the time, but I'm like, but y'all, something that made y'all different. So to me, it's like, I want to kind of get some clarity around that, you know, so for people that are listening and watching, like, what was the things that you feel like made y'all
us different?
Yeah, made y'all different. Yeah.
I think some of the things that made us different was just the documentation of everything from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Like we used to always just document everything on the phones. Video, communicating through video. We did a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I always had like this digital first approach, even early on, meaning I was always collecting data.
Okay.
Even early on. I remember I used to go to festivals and I used to go to vendors just to go around and see who would all be collecting data. Nobody was ever collecting data.
Okay.
We was doing that from day one.
Okay.
We was collecting your name, your email, your phone number.
Right.
Okay. All the time. I remember sent my first email in 2015.
Oh, wow.
So, always doing that. I think that separates you. And then I think the product. Honestly,
yeah.
Okay.
I think that just got to just give the credit to the product, man. Taryn created a exceptional product. And I think that we focused on soap for the first 2.5 years. We didn't actually, you see all the products that we have now.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't have all that stuff at first.
Right.
We just established in soap because we wanted to be known as like, the soap people.
The soap people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, the business was created out of like would you say like out of like kind of like a necessity kind of, because at the congregation we was going to, I created this program called the Group Economics Project, where I wanted everybody in the congregation to create products that we all used every day, and so that we can purchase from each other. So that's how we first kind of started.
At what age?
What was we?
22, 23.
Okay.
23.
Yeah, it was probably around
That is awesome.
It was around there, so I created that program there. So I wanted people
were at the end of the at the end of the service time, people would go and set up their tables and start setting up, and he set that up.
Yep. So we was doing soap, somebody else was doing deodorant. I wanted somebody else to do bed sheets. I wanted somebody else, just the essential stuff.
That is awesome.
But we happened to keep it going.
Right.
We happened to keep it going, and again, just documenting the process as we continued.
Okay.
And I hear that, and listening to you, like you said, y'all documented the journey. I really think what sells it the most is y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Them seeing a strong couple doing it together.
Yeah.
I think that's something for people to believe in and want to, be behind. Mm-hmm. That is amazing, and that's something that would definitely motivate me to support. No,
absolutely. We I think early on we had those, what do you call them, like those raving fans that just they really gravitated to the story. They just really gravitated to what we were doing.
Exactly.
Being at Juneteenth Festival, being at the Malcolm X Festival, being at these festivals where it was our people there.
Yeah.
They would they would learn about us on social media, but then they would come and vibe with us at these festivals and stuff like that. I think that connection early. Even though we do most of our stuff online today, we didn't start off online.
Right.
We started off in person.
Exactly.
We was making those, set up that tent.
Right.
Making those connections in person. I think that set the
And you guys were consistent. You guys were at every festival.
We was at everything.
Like literally.
Touching down.
Everyone.
Farmers markets through the week.
Exactly.
And then we was doing like the Malcolm X or Juneteenth or whatever on the weekends and stuff like that or whatnot. So I think that really helped.
And the timeline of that was like, we were doing this stuff at the congregation. And I remember like Quentin was already kind of like transitioning out of not working his job anymore at valet and stuff like that. And I was like, when you out here just like living, and I don't want to be working no more, like as far as going in and clocking into a job. And so I remember even in 2016, I want to say it was 2016, that was my last time having a job, was 2016, and it was the farmers market, us like branching out, going into the farmers market world, because we were doing like 3 farmers markets a week. So of course that was kind of like time consuming in a way. And honestly, that probably wasn't the best thing to do at that point in time. But it was just
looking back, we should have had jobs.
We should have kept our jobs, because we struggled for a lot of years. But we did the farmers market life. But even in the beginning, like I was making soap and Quentin was doing internet marketing, and we didn't have a TV, so we really just like focused in on those skills. And Quentin is very like, we were broke.
We were super broke.
We was broke. That's not why we didn't have a TV. We was, we didn't have a TV and microwave. We was really living a different life at that point. And so he was just always like he said, he was really big on documenting the journey. It would be times I would have an attitude. We making soap late at night. He turning on the camera, going live, showing everybody us making soap, and I'm like, why? He's showing the good, the bad, the ugly,
and that's why they love y'all.
Yes, I wouldn't. If it was for me, I wouldn't be turning on the camera, showing everything and stuff like that. Quentin would turn on the camera. Okay, y'all, this is what we doing. It was very like raw stuff. It wasn't like we're creating like ads and commercials and stuff. of. Right. It's like we're just showing y'all what we're doing.
That's right.
And we had one time we took 4,000 bars of soap to California. Quentin documented that whole journey, and so I think, like you said, a lot of people just have followed the story, because you'll hear a lot of people that have been like, yes, we've been following y'all like ever since y'all been doing this. So I feel like people just feel like connected to us. And then when the pandemic happened in 2020, we came out with like a brand story and ran an ad on that, and then more people started finding out about us. They're looking for a soap to use, a natural soap company, a black-owned brand. So it kind of just like took off, and we gained more traction from there.
And I'm sure through that you got a lot of testimonies of how it actually helped people's skin and change their lives, right?
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of those.
I bet.
Yeah, I remember when I was introduced to you all. Right, I think we were somewhere and someone's like, "Hey, Quentin may need some accounting support or something like that." Like, were you actually looking for support in that capacity? Like, how did that happen? Like,
I think I was working with we was working with Javaris and them.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? We was working with them, and I'll be honest with you, finances is not our strong. It was never our strong suit.
Yeah,
she's the creative. I'm more of like that go-getter entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The finances wasn't our strong point. So I think working with him, I remember I was working with him, and he would call you asking about certain stuff on, like, asking you certain accounting advice.
Exactly.
And then I think I put two and two together. I'm like, okay, I think I probably was probably working with you. And not no slight to him or whatever, but it was just those earlier years. But when the year did we start working together?
It was 2019. I remember.
So it was 2019?
It was March of 2019.
Okay,
you guys we talked, and you guys came to the house.
Oh, okay.
You came to the house. We sat down and kind of talked about, how we could potentially work together.
Yeah.
And I remember, fast forward at the end of 2019, I was like, Quentin, you guys have something like phenomenal here.
Yeah.
Like, we need to sit down and put together some projections.
I remember
some stuff together. And Quentin was just like, Quentin, let's schedule a meeting on the calendar. Yeah. Let's do some projections.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it was not clicking at the time. It just wasn't. Because you kept saying to me, what does it look like if you do $1 million? And I just was like,
what?
It just I don't know.
And that was in 2019, wasn't it?
And it was in 2019.
It was December 2019. I was like, Quentin, I could see you guys doing $1 million in 2020.
You called it before anybody called it.
I was like, you could do it. I was like, literally, you could do $1 million in 2020. And I was just like, but I was like, let's put something on the calendar. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear back from you. I'm like,
we didn't get a chance.
What's going on? Then I reached back out. He's just like. I remember when I talked to you about it later on the night. You just like, it just didn't click. Like you talking about we can make $1 million, just didn't.
It didn't.
Like, it didn't make sense. Yeah. Like, it wasn't reality. It's like you were talking fantasy. It was like, but but I think then fast forward to see what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
You couldn't believe it.
Right?
After you called me, I think it was at the end of the year. Yeah. I was like, we did this. You was like,
What?
Exactly.
Look at that.
What?
Like,
that's what's up.
I only said $1 million. Like, y'all took that and,
2 points.
and destroyed it.
Yeah. And speaking about the finances, we're going to have to take a break real quick, and we're going to come back because we definitely want to know more about that. And we're going to pay the bills.
Hold on. He's looking at some type of way. He said, we're not breaking.
We're not breaking that.
How much time? It's been, oh, wow. It's been.
Yes, we went through our break. Yeah, we went through our break.
Wow,
yo, it be like that on this show. We just be talking. Oh, that's what you were saying over there. But we're gonna have y'all back on.
It was so good. Like I didn't want to break it.
We're gonna have y'all back on because this is an amazing story.
I love it.
Yes, and just definitely congratulations on all the success.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, just give thanks to the creator and just the team and even yourself, Armand. Just you've been. If anybody done seen it, this man, he done seen
that's what's up.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like every single
and been a
thing.
natural supporter.
Yeah.
I remember y'all used to come because you just have a big family, so there would be a lot of soap. Like
right.
That's
y'all
what's
come. You brought the kids. I remember we did the in the store.
Yeah, we went through some demonstrations. Be able to just show them like real life entrepreneurs, especially like young husband and wife team actually doing it. Right. I think to me that's a testament to your success, and I think the universe to me has a way of rewarding people for actually being an example and doing things actually the right way, like Ebony mentioned earlier, with integrity, right? It seems like there's so much integrity that comes from your story, and actually you guys are doing it. So to me, it's so commendable, and I've always been the biggest supporter. And however I could be from the beginning, it's been a journey.
Appreciate you.
Well, for the people listening, I'm sure they would love to follow y'all. Let us know where they can find you, how they can stay in touch.
Yeah, so speaking of documenting the journey, we've recorded a lot of videos, and you can catch us on YouTube. You can see a lot of like vlogs, us talking about business and any kind of future things that we're doing as well.
Okay.
It's Urban Eden. All of our social media handles is Urban Eden, HERBNEDEN. We're on Instagram, same name, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We don't really do Twitter too well, but we're on there too.
I love Twitter.
And y'all still do festivals? Are you still out here?
Yeah, so we do have a festival. I don't even think we can technically talk about it right now because they said until they actually accept you, but it feels good to actually get back into festivals because we really stopped for like the past couple of years, and I'm so excited.
Pandemic really kind of
absolutely.
But to get back in front of people and just like gain new customers, and like you said, you talk about people like know about us, but then there's still so many people that don't know about us.
Still so many.
So just spreading the word about us, I'm excited, and we'll probably look into like some more festivals as time goes on because that's just the good marketing right there.
Connecting with the people.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I still remember. I thought I heard you say something about the Essence Festival.
Yes.
Okay, that's big.
No, it is. It is.
That
big.
is huge.
No, it is. We actually was preparing for it in 2020.
Yeah.
Pandemic hit. It just scrapped it, but I'm happy to be going to Essence.
Look for them at the Essence Festival, y'all. That is amazing.
Absolutely.
That is amazing.
Indeed. Herb and Eden.
Herb and Eden.
Right?
Yes.
Taryn, Quinn.
Taryn.
And Eden. Our little girl's name is going to be Eden.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Our son is not going to be named Herb.
No.
Please don't name him Herb.
You're not going to do Herbert and Eden?
No.
I'll be setting him up to get taken out every day.
Can you do that to him?
So fresh and so clean.
Thank y'all so much.
Man.
Another amazing Conscious Intercourse, y'all.
Yes.
Check us back next time. Peace.
Right.
You don't want to with me.
Hey.